Hi there, I am Adam Kirbas, and this is my 9th episode of my short story, Wednesday. I was lying there, the warmth of a flower still embracing my dick. I felt her. I was connected to her. I was part of this beauty. And I just closed my eyes. I wanted to feel this thrill, this excitement, this fulfillment. I just let myself go like I would have waken up somewhere else. At that day I went to sleep somewhere. The day before, I thought my world would be still the same. I thought nothing would change, nothing would ever change, and nothing good would ever happen to me. But there, at that moment, I awoke new. I was changed. I had grown an adult. I have outgrown my small world. I, for the first time, felt this sweet thrill, this amazement. I was dazzled how fast life could change, how fast the world you know before turns upside down, and you can just watch it in awe, and it is beautiful, it is magnificent, it is beyond words, this feeling of bliss, feeling of change. I knew that day, that after that day I would not be the same again. I knew after I experienced beauty, after I experienced the thrill, after I felt this beautiful woman all over my body, I knew I was transforming. I knew that her flower, her beautiful flower, was sprouting inside me, bearing fruits, and made me a man who has been cherished, a man who is appreciated, seduced, desirous, a man who has changed, a man who understood what life is all about, a man who finally got to cross the border, went beyond the border, discovered a new world, a man who gained experience but found purpose, and now sees the world differently. Change. I felt change in my heart. I felt change. The world outside did not play a role anymore. I felt this thrill, this deep satisfaction. Every day was a day filled with opportunities. Every day was a day filled with excitement and the willingness to discover this world, to see more of it, to crave for it, to crave every bit of it. I didn't want it to go home and waste my days anymore. I had changed. I changed through beauty. I had changed experiencing this unfathomable creature. And she lay on top of me, still my dick inside her, and she watched me. She was at a pinnacle. She reached the pinnacle. She had reached a pinnacle, and she was sighing in deep satisfaction. She was in ecstasy, in bliss, in joy, in thrilling passion. Her moans were still ringing in my ears, the melody which intermingled with the memory of her voice I heard in that supermarket with this sweet voice of thank you, and her moans intermingled and put my mind in disarray. did not leave any stone unturned. It changed me. And these eyes were still haunting me, these desirous eyes. I could not get enough. I wanted to be close to her. I wanted to be with her. And she just stared at me, speechless. Indifferently looked at me, like she was expecting something. And I held, and I looked at her, I stared at her. I stared in these beautiful dark eyes. I stared at these beautiful full lips, at this sweet flesh that was devouring me. She stood up and released my penis from the grasp of a flower. And I saw myself change there, but I felt uncomfortable again. I felt left alone again. I could just watch her walk away. And there is the distance of muteness again, which left me desolated. She distanced herself, went to the sink, poured herself a glass of water, and then drank it while watching me. She turned around. I could see her beautiful body, her beautiful lips, her flower. Her nectar was oozing out of her flower. This gorgeous woman was just standing there watching me and drinking a glass of water like someone who knows what to do, who understands what happened, someone who saw through me, someone who was connected to me and can easily detach herself, can easily walk away and stand apart from it and just watch you to figure it out yourself, watch you to scrape the pieces, to gather yourself, to understand what this was about, to understand why you, for a couple of minutes or for all eternity, were connected to this beautiful creature. To understand, you are left to understand what this was all about. Was this unique? Are you free? Are you different? You have to understand the change that is brought about you and you alone. It left you alone. And to wonder what happened, why this happened to you, and you are still in this bliss, but this awkward moment, it passes again. It appears to be that you're supposed to say something, do something. But I could only watch her. I could watch her. She had finished drinking her glass of water and she approached her clothes. She took out a tissue and wiped her beautiful flower clean, like one washes his hands after physical exercise, like one washes his hands after having worked in the field, having worked in the garden, like one cleans himself before sitting on a table. She just swiped over her beautiful flower and then started dressing. I had lost any interest in her world. She did not even notice me anymore. I was just a random guy, just no one. And I left to wonder. I was still lying there stupid. I thought she would want to hug me. I thought she would approach me any minute and kiss me, say something to my ear, so that I could once again hear this beautiful voice. I still needed the memory of her voice because her moans were still in my head. Her movements the wave of passion was still on my hips, was still on my penis. I could still feel her riding me. I could still feel her riding my penis. I could still feel her being above me, her weight moving up and down gently. I could still feel her hands on my chest. And I could still hear my deafening heart throbs, her moans, the rhythm that intermingled in this sweet ecstasy. I could still feel her, but she remained mute, silent, and dressed herself indifferently. And I was just left to wonder, just to stare at this beautiful creature in awe. And I felt again that I did something wrong, that I did not understood it. Should I have kissed her? Should I have kissed her while having sex? Should I have held her, grabbed her? Should I have pressed her tightly against me? Should I have put my lips more passionately against hers? Should I seared her lips with my passion, with my craving? Should I have written and imprinted myself on her skin, on all over her face? Every kiss, every pat on her beautiful skin, on her beautiful face meant about me. This is me who desires you. This is me who wants you. This is me who feels this excitement. Should I have done more? I didn't know. I gathered myself together. An awkward moment ensued. The silence, this muteness of my life conquered the room. I could hear myself breathe. But she was distant. She wasn't even looking at me anymore. I was just a nobody anymore. I had lost my appeal. And she stared at me then. After having dressed, she stared at me, and her eyes rims have regained this sadness again, this indifference, this facial expression what window gazers have who see the world pass by over the years, and they cannot follow their footsteps. They are trapped. Window gazers who could not escape, and they grew sad over the years, distraught. And there were maybe some days where they wanted to crush it all, where they wanted to prove them all wrong and just go out there, follow their dreams, follow somewhere, walk somewhere, just anywhere, away from this misery, away from their mundane life, away from life in its utter boredom, because they could not help themselves. They did not know what to do with themselves. Just to think about one thought, and this is to escape, to go somewhere, anywhere. And they thought, no matter what, this anywhere is better than where they are now. Her face was expressionless. It had lost the desire. It has lost this flare, the flame of passion. Like she had wiped it off, like she had regained her mask again, and she was staring out in the world in indifference. And I was part of this outside world. I was part of this nonchalant occurrence every day, of this uninviting occasions, which may assume you that something has changed, but in the end it hasn't. It is the same every day, and it will be the same every day. And she stared at me. And it even appeared as if she was exhausted, like she had expected something